Once upon a time, two men decided if they were making the cut. Then they made the cut. And now JT and Aaron are talking everything from wrestling to pop culture and beyond, because it's no holds barred.
Will you back down, turn and run, or stand up with the best? When your back's to the wall, what will your answer be? Will you run for the door? Will you run out on me like it's hard? It's no holds barred.
No holds barred.
Barred. Come on, barred. Whenever I see a director do that in a show, it drives me insane. Custard.
Does the conductor like really lead a band? Like, I always wonder. I'm not meaning this to shit on any conductors, but like I watch them with the, like, is that, could they play without him there? I guess.
Well, here's the thing. I've been in a symphony. Were you ever in a symphony in high school?
No, I'm not musically inclined in any way.
Okay,
besides being a really cool softball DJ.
Oh yes, and clearly you're singing off the top. But I was in a symphony for like 4 years. I played percussion, so I didn't really listen. But like, yeah, I didn't listen to him ever.
Right.
Like I had the sheet music. I played with the sheet music, and everybody else says, yeah. And now they must do something though.
Right.
Like, are they asking for more volume? Because there's a lot of this. Like there's they do a lot of this.
Up, give me up.
Yeah, up and down. But I don't know. I feel like like if he dropped dead, they could probably survive. I feel.
Right. Yeah,
like,
I think they could finish the set without a problem.
Yeah, it's funny because you say that, because I saw a video the other day of it's a Kiss concert, but it's like not recent, but like say like 2005.
Is it about whatever. Kiss Save Santa?
No, that was a whole documentary that they showed. This was a concert, and Paul Stanley like brought it. They were singing Love Gun, which, if you don't know Kiss, it's one of their most famous songs. And he got lifted up to kind of be brought over the audience, but he got jammed up there, and they couldn't bring him back down. And so they start the song with him leaping, and then they're playing, and there's a bit of an intro before the lyrics. And then the lyrics come in, but he's still stuck up there, right? So Gene Simmons starts singing the song, but he doesn't know the lyrics or the words or how it goes. And it's like, you've been playing this song for 30 years.
Right.
Like,
you're really not paying attention at all.
Like, how do you, so if they fall apart, perhaps a symphony would be the same.
I guess. Yeah, possibly.
But this was our pop culture, because every time I hear the intro, I'm like, pop culture.
Yeah, so there's somewhere in there. That was way back at the beginning. It's good to hear you get jammed, though. That Parks and Rec lives on. That awesome.
Always.
Anyway, if anyone's a conductor or has experience, let us know, because I am curious.
No, and tell me what this means. Yeah. Is it?
Get excited.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm excited. We're back in the Holds Bar. This podcast is simulcast, audio on all podcast applications, and video on our YouTube channel here on the North-South Connection. Be sure to subscribe. We have a lot of cool content going on, and this podcast is part of our No-So 95 series. We're paying tribute to the year 1995 in pop culture, sports, wrestling, and beyond. You can see the logo here on YouTube.
I can never.
Right on top of that jackass on the right. And what we're doing is it's 30 years since 1995. So we are paying tribute, and part of an ongoing series here at No Holds Barred, Aaron, that we've been doing is rebooking the pay-per-view year of 1995 in the WWF. Kind of just like started as we're going to talk about WrestleMania 11, and now it's become like a vanity project to fix this entire year.
We're going to redo the whole year. But so far, it's been a blast. I've enjoyed both of our cards that we've done.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's interesting that like you can really we didn't have to do a lot to make the show better in a way that we would like. You know, maybe you guys think the shows we made did are terrible. It's possible, but at the very least, I feel confident that I would enjoy the shows.
Yeah, and we started at WrestleMania 11, but really we went back and rebooked the Rumble. And then our last episode we did In Your House 1 and King of the Ring. Yeah, and tonight we're gonna do In Your House 2 and the hottest show of the summer that you're gonna need shades of the rebook of SummerSlam 1995, and of course SummerSlam 2025 is coming a couple weeks at the time of this airing. So there you go. I guess that's a bonnet of some sort, perhaps.
I forgot my sunglasses.
I happen to have these because I wore them when Jenny and I did Weekend at Bernie's on Freak Out Driving. So,
Oh, I see.
yes, that's my horror movie.
This is my yarmulke.
Shalom. All right, so
Shalom.
King of the Ring 95, our king coming out of it was Shawn Michaels. Am I correct on that?
Yep.
Okay, and he defeated Psycho Sid in the main event at the finals.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did.
We also had Bret Hart, Jerry Lawler. We kept that.
Yeah, in a cage.
In a cage. One of my favorite matches we did that I'm in love with is Lawrence Taylor and Bam Bam Bigelow taking on Owen Hart and Yokozuna for the tag team titles.
Yeah.
And we gave LT a 3-match deal in our world, and they're all great, I'm sure. So pretty cool.
He excelled.
He was great. Tournament, we did some good work there as well. So level set for us. Who are our champions coming out of King of the Ring?
The world champion is still the total package, Lex Luger. The Intercontinental champion is still the 1-2-3 Kid. And the tag team champions are Bam Bam Bigelow and Lawrence Taylor.
Right, but I think we were going to have them. Well,
Yes.
I guess we'll talk about it. Right, we're going to maybe Dusty finish it off of them, and Shawn was our king coming out of King of the Ring.
Yeah.
So that's kind of, and I believe is Bull Nakano our women's champion? I forget if it was her or Alundra.
No, unless we changed it on Raw, but Alundra beat her at WrestleMania.
Okay, so Blaze is our women's champion. I don't know if we'll use her, but she's our champion.
She's there.
All right, so we're going to do In Your House 2 on the road to SummerSlam. So let's start with those tag titles. Do we want to keep the concept that we briefly discussed on our last episode where Cornette uses his legalese and says Taylor was not a full-time wrestler, so that title change doesn't count. He's not contracted to the WWF. And we talked about either Dusty finishing it back to Owen and Yoko, or they make Bigelow find a new partner and, we give him somebody. We talked about Bulldog, I think, is an option.
Yeah.
So what do you think we should go with this one?
Well, I'm not sure. I was thinking too, there's a third option, which would be to vacate them and do another tournament.
Right.
And you could have the tournament final at In Your House. It just depends on what you want to do with guys to kind of free them up. Because by this point, do you still want Owen and Yoko in the tag title picture, or do we want to open them up and let them do a bit more? You get what I mean?
Yeah. I don't know if we're going to run another, because I don't think we got eliminated the tag tournament in January, right? I think we kept that.
No, we didn't.
Yeah. So I don't know if we're going to do another one.
Yeah. So then
I kind of like the concept of the next night on Raw, Cornette gets it upheld by, I think Tunney retires In Your House 2 and Gorilla takes over. But we could say Gorilla started early, maybe it's his first night on the job, then after King of the Ring.
Okay.
And maybe we say there's a rematch that night and Bigelow has to find a new partner and the titles are held up. And then we can decide if we go back to Owen Yoko or we want to give Bigelow a new partner.
Or we just give them back to Yoko and Owen, because I think there's probably something interesting to do with Bam Bam and the tag titles. But I don't know if we want to burn it here. Right. We might want to burn that at SummerSlam, especially if we're going to. Okay. Because I like your idea of putting him with Bulldog, and we had talked to at some point about Bulldog turning on him.
Yes.
Right. I just think that this might be a bit too early for that.
Well, they could be champions for a bit though, and then he turns too if we wanted.
Yeah, they could.
One option I'll throw out too is you could do Diesel, who kind of we don't have a ton going on for right now either, and him and Bigelow had been kind of tied a little bit, like in the real world. I don't think we really talked too much about him, but he could be like Bigelow's surprise partner, and they could win, and that could lead to some kind of thing, turn with Diesel later if we wanted as well.
Yeah, I could live with that too. That's interesting.
We could also just say the belts are on the line In Your House if we want to do it there, not on Raw. Like have them vacated on Raw and say it In Your House. Bigelow will have a new partner
against Owen and Yoko.
Yes, and the winners are champions, and maybe Diesel's the mystery partner there.
Yeah, okay, let's do that.
You want to do that?
Yep, I want to do that.
Okay,
that's a good use of all those guys.
All right, and who wins, Bigelow and Diesel?
Yeah, because I think. Again, if we're going to turn whoever Bigelow's partner is, which might be a good idea, I think we keep it for SummerSlam. Whatever's happening, whoever they're fighting at SummerSlam, that's when it happens.
Okay. All right. So Bigelow and Diesel win against Owen and Yoko at In Your House.
Yeah.
All
okay.
Right. Now, you also had an idea around the IC title. Do you want to talk about that?
Okay, so we had talked about Razor beating Kid the next night after King of the Ring or something like that. Here's my thought, and it's very different than what we talked about, but tell me what you think. Because there's a match we never really got that I think would be really cool to do here. And that would be the Kid at In Your House 2 defending against Shawn. Because we never saw those two fight. I feel like it could be a really great match. Now, the caveat would be that Razor has been promised the 1, 2, 3 Kid, the Raw after In Your House 2.
Right.
And what ends up happening is that Shawn wins the title from the Kid, like he beat Jarrett at In Your House 2. And then the next night, Razor still gets the Kid. He doesn't get the title. He gets the Kid because like some sort of legalese in the contract or whatever.
Right.
He can destroy the Kid at there. And then that can lead to the ladder match at SummerSlam.
Okay. All right. So
what do you think about that?
Kid keeps it to In Your House.
Yeah.
Loses to Shawn.
Yeah.
Ramon still fights Kid the night after. We can even say it's a number one contender match too. Kid.
Yeah.
You know, maybe Gorilla says like,
it was such a
all
hard
right, you get
match.
an automatic rematch at SummerSlam. And then Razor comes out and is like,
wait a minute,
what has he done to do that? I deserve it. And then Kid puts it on the line against him on Raw.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. So In Your House, Shawn defeats Kid.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that also probably dictates that Razor should have a win at In Your House too.
Yep.
Now, if we're going with Bam Bam and Diesel against Owen and Yoko, the big guy that's left that might be interesting is Bulldog, Razor Bulldog.
Yeah. Do you feel like we have, and it doesn't matter because it's not real, but have we beaten Bulldog a lot?
He lost the world title last at King of the Ring.
Mm-hmm.
But he won
did he win at Mania? Or he beat Jarrett, right?
He beat Jarrett at Mania. He beat somebody else at In Your House 1, I believe.
Oh, yeah. He beat Brett, actually.
That's it. So he's won a lot. He lost the world title match, but that's not really anything crazy. Well, it doesn't have to be him. I just can't think of anyone else that has that stature. The other thing, too, here's the other thing to think about.
Yeah.
Is that we need a main event for this show.
Well, I have a good one because it's a guy that we did not use at all last month. And
Triple H?
Naturally, in his debut. Undertaker.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Undertaker could get his off-month challenge against Luger, and Luger steals a win somehow. And maybe someone costs Taker that sets up a Taker feud for SummerSlam.
Well, are we still going with the idea that Razor beat him in the casket match, and then Razor's going to have to answer to Undertaker later on?
Did we give Razor the win? I don't remember. Is that definitely?
Yeah, we did. Yeah, because we're building Ramon. No, it was the rematch at In Your House, which was a casket match.
Oh, I thought WrestleMania. I'm like, we didn't end the streak.
No. Taker beats him at Mania.
Right, Taker beat him at Mania. Okay.
Yeah, and then Ramon gets the win back in a casket match. So, not that I don't want to use Undertaker, but we could conceivably leave him off, and it makes sense because he's been buried or whatever.
Yeah, but we're not going to do Razor Taker at SummerSlam because we're doing Razor Shawn. No. So you're going to leave Taker off SummerSlam?
Well, he's off SummerSlam in the original, isn't he? Or isn't he?
No, he fights Kama.
Oh, he fights Kama. He might as well have been off. But yeah. Because I like Taker in the main event. I think that's interesting.
Because my thought is we do Taker Razor Survivor Series for like the big blow off.
Yes, that's what I think too. So it's like, what's Taker doing in the meantime? Is he getting caught up in something else? Like,
well, he gets a world title shot, I think, is a good one. And then I think, is there anyone else that could work with Razor that would cost Taker the match, like on his behalf? Maybe a guy named Savio Vega.
Yeah. We could explore the idea of Savio Vega coming in as a heel. Didn't
we kind of talk about this, but we didn't end up using him, right?
Yeah, we didn't end up using it, but we could. I mean, there's no reason not to. Because look, we got these guys. We got if we're getting Diesel and Bam Bam together, Owen Yoko, we're getting rid of them. We get rid of Shawn and Kid. These are the big guys that are left. We have Razor. We have Razor. What was the second one? We have Razor, Bulldog. We have Razor, Bulldog, Luger, Sid, and Brett. Now, are we building to Brett Luger at SummerSlam?
So we have to make our big decision.
Yeah.
Are we having Luger leave or not?
Well, I think there's a couple of ways you can do it. And I think I could be wrong, but I feel like all of this has been building to Brett taking the belt off Luger.
Yeah.
Right. In fact, if we keep Brett and Luger as the last two in the Royal Rumble, that sells it even more. Right. Like, now I think you can go two ways. You can have Luger just lose to Brett at SummerSlam, and then he can leave like he normally does. Or you could have Brett challenge at SummerSlam, and you can almost have Luger sneak out the way Yoko sneaks out when Luger has to fight him in 93. And then Brett gets him at SummerSlam, not SummerSlam, Survivor Series, and wins the belt there. I think those are the options. Like
part of you wants to keep Luger around because we built such an interesting character, but it feels like against a spirit. Like, I know we kept LT longer, but whatever. But like Luger going to Nitro is like tantamount to that year, like the war. Like, that's such a big moment.
Yeah.
It feels like a little cheap to like not have him do it. And him losing to Brett and leaving is like a natural spot. Like, it's just an asshole move that he had this huge push, this heel turn, and then he still walks for big money.
I'm not coming back. Yeah, I'm fine with him leaving at SummerSlam. I think that's the decision. One way.
It hurts to have him do it, but I think
that's fair.
I think it makes sense. So, do we want to do? All right, so let me just write this. So SummerSlam is going to be Hart defeats Luger.
Yeah, that's the end game of the whole Luger push, right? Is Brett finally getting him? Brett having the match with Luger, which I'm sure will be great. And that's what, like, 'cause I bring it up now because we're thinking about the main event of the show. And in 95, they have the main event at least once. It's not at this one, but at In Your House one where it's a tag match. So do you want to start Brett and Luger off in a tag match against each other, like Luger and Sid against Brett and somebody? Or do we want to go a different route? Do we want to have Luger defeat somebody else?
I think Brett. I like Luger Taker and Brett Sid is the number one contender match for SummerSlam.
Okay.
And Brett beats Sid. It gives him a big win to bounce back, coming off the Lawler win.
I'm good with that. Yeah.
So that's it in your house. So Hart defeats Sid.
Brett Luger defeats. And you could use that more for Razor too, because Razor can come out and be like, "Listen, I just beat the Undertaker in his own match,
right? And
now how is he getting a title shot?"
Yeah, so I think Razor costs Taker.
Yeah. And then I don't want Taker messing with the ladder match.
Right.
But I think a good thing that might be interesting is once the match is over and Shawn wins, maybe Razor's left in the ring and we hear the dong and the lights go up. Yeah, like we can do that.
I know you don't want to mess with the ladder match, but is there anybody else we could put in that IC title match at SummerSlam and do Razor Taker at SummerSlam? Because it feels like the natural spot for it versus trying to drag it out another 3 months after.
Yeah, I know.
Do we want to put Jarrett there and run that in your house match at SummerSlam?
We already ran it at King of the Ring. We're very close to it.
Do we want to have Kid get a rematch in a ladder match? Shawn versus Kid?
That's interesting. But Kid's getting beat again?
Well, maybe we don't have Shawn win it in your house. Maybe Kid retains.
Or time limit draw.
Right.
They fight to a time limit draw. They put the title on the line.
Or is there someone that could interfere and mess up the match?
Well, it'd be Razor or Diesel. Or debuting Triple H.
Or like Hakushi.
Yeah. Yeah, you could use Hakushi there.
Maybe Lawler brings in Hakushi.
But why is he interfering in Shawn and the Kid? Lawler's beef is Brett, right?
Well, they're done. So if they're done, you can say, because we haven't had Hakushi on yet, right?
Yeah, we had him at the last show. He squashed Holly.
Oh, right.
Like his debut squash.
No, Kid. We had him fight Kid.
Oh, at the King of the Ring. Yeah, yeah. But he fights Holly at In Your House 1. I think.
Adam Bomb.
Oh, Adam Bomb. That's right. It was one of those guys.
Yeah, all right. I was thinking like Lawler maybe wants like Hakushi wants. I was thinking like Sean Hakushi could be a fun match at In Your House 3 for the IC belt.
Fun. So because we built the kid up as like this kind of survivor, why don't we run the time limit draw with him? You don't even need anybody to interfere, and then they have the ladder match at SummerSlam.
I think I like it because it's different. We're building a different world, and then Michaels beats him, and that can still be an awesome match. It'll be different.
Because you'd have the kid's quickness getting up the ladder, and that's the story of the match, right?
So and then we can do Taker versus Ramon.
In like we talked about some sort of Ramon gimmick match.
Right.
So like, what would that be? Cuban street fight. Yeah.
Yeah. And Taker beats him. And then we can decide if we want to turn him face again or not after that.
Right.
All right. So because we could also have Camp Cornette cost, because our Camp Cornette is Luger, Sid, Yoko, and Owen. Yeah. So they could cost Taker at. Oh, so how about we do this? Why don't we do a little bit of the WrestleMania 18? So Camp Cornette costs Taker at In Your House.
Okay.
Because they got to protect Luger, right?
Yeah.
And then at SummerSlam, Taker beats Ramon. Yeah. Camp Cornette attacks him.
Yeah.
Ramon helps Taker fight off Camp Cornette. And that's how we turn him back face.
Do we want to turn him back face? That's another question.
Or do we want him as a heel contender? Well, we got to pick. Are we going to turn Diesel? We're not going to turn him both. Like, to me, if you're going to turn Diesel, it may work to double turn Razor.
But Diesel doesn't really turn. Like, it's a weird thing. Because look, what do we want to do with, because Brett, once Brett gets the belt, wherever it happens, are we keeping that he's holding it until WrestleMania? That's what makes sense to me. So
I think so. He keeps WrestleMania and loses to Shawn.
And it also gives him, because he always bitches about being a transitional champion in that period. And like this gives him an extra like 2 or 3 months with the belt, right? Which might kind of smooth that over a bit. And then, but if that's the case, we probably want to keep Ramon heel.
You think Brett Ramon at Survivor Series maybe?
Well, or Diesel. Like Diesel, it's face, right? You can actually keep that Brett Diesel match there.
Right. Yeah, I was just thinking, would it be, because I think Taker transitioning to Camp Cornette after SummerSlam makes sense. So if they screw him in Your House, he's kind of fighting off Ramon and them.
Yeah.
And you could even have Cornette like trying to pay off Ramon, join Camp, and Ramon's like, no, like I'm on my own, man. And then he fights them off at SummerSlam because he's tired of their bullshit too. You could kind of do Ramon and Taker fighting off Camp Cornette in the fall.
Yeah, or something else we could do.
And Bulldog is in there.
Well, Bulldog's got to turn at some point because we're going to keep that match at In Your House 5, right?
Right. So we could do Bulldog. Maybe it's a like Survivor Series match, not to get too far, right? But like Bulldog, Ramon, Taker, and someone against Camp Cornette. You could do something like that.
Yeah, or this is another thought I just had. We keep the Diesel Brett match almost exactly the way it is, except Brett's coming in as the champion, right? At the end of the match, Diesel attacks him like he does in the thing, and maybe Ramon comes in and chases Diesel off. Maybe he's earned Brett's earned his respect through the other matches they might have had.
So we don't need to do a full face turn at SummerSlam. Like I think Razor is annoyed by Camp Cornette. He helps Taker fight them off, but then he still maybe like throws his toothpick at Taker and walks away, like an Austin kind of thing. Where, and then throughout the fall, the fans kind of start to warm up to him because we could do him at Brett in Your House 3, even. Yeah, you know, as like almost like a quasi face. Like it's like Taker Austin at Cold Day in Hell kind of idea. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. Yeah, and then if you instead of doing like a bunch of turns, we double turn him and Diesel at Survivor Series.
Right.
We're not trying to book the rest of the year right now.
No,
but
I know.
But I think it matters to what we're gonna do.
All right, so are we no longer doing Ramon and Kid the night after? That's gone, right?
I think we still do it. It's just not for the oh no,
not for the title shot. But you're not going to have Ramon beat him though,
unless the title's held up after the draw. But then when we have the tag titles already held up,
yeah, no, I don't
yeah, you don't want to keep doing that. Well, I think we should keep it and you know what? Maybe the Undertaker's bell goes off or something, and that's how we incorporate it back in for SummerSlam.
So Kid beats Ramon?
Yeah, Kid beats Ramon, but it's a total fluke because of the Undertaker.
Right. Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And then that sets up. Yeah. All right. In Your House 2. Bigelow.
All right. Here's what we got. Yeah. So we got Bigelow and Diesel versus Yoko and Owen for the vacant tag titles. They win. Michaels and Kid go to a draw. Hart defeats Sid for the title shot.
Yeah.
Although now, does that make sense anymore? Because I forgot Sid is with Luger. So would Sid be fighting for a title match?
Well, maybe he's kind of hedging his bet. And it's like, well, if the Undertaker wins, and you can kind of start sowing a little bit of seeds of dissension in there.
Yeah, with Luger.
Yeah. And they could play it like Luger will be like, you're going to lay down for me or whatever. And Sid will kind of play it like, yeah, of course. But then right. Because everybody ends up loving Sid, right? So we might as well give him a bit of a.
I mean, you could have Sid if you pay Luger for one more night on Raw, you could have Sid squash him to take over Camp Cornette, whatever, too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Although
or that's how
Luger to just vanish after SummerSlam and be gone until Nitro.
Yeah, I like that too. But no matter what, I think the card works. We probably need a couple more matches on it, though.
Yeah, it's only 4 so far. We need at least 2 more.
Yeah.
All right. So who don't we have? We got Jarrett, Bulldog, Hakushi.
Who do we have Bulldog fighting? Bulldog's fighting. No, we don't. We don't have Bulldog on the show.
No. Bulldog, Hakushi, Jarrett.
Do we want to bring in Lafitte because he's on the show or he's on one of these shows, right?
He's in Your House 3, but I think he's around by now.
Yeah, he's fighting dark matches.
There's also Hunter. There's also someone else. Waylon Mercy. We definitely have people that are starting to pop up if we want to start filtering them. We don't have to, but if we want to start mixing them in on any of these shows.
Yeah. Okay, well, we should get Bulldog on the card.
Are we done with Jarrett, by the way? Because he leaves it in Your House too. So do we want to have him? Didn't we need someone to squash? Oh, we wanted Ramon to kill someone, right? But him and Jarrett.
But now
makes sense.
Yeah. And here we're already using Ramon.
Yeah, I think Ramon not being on his card is fine.
Right.
Oh, Kid. Yeah, because Kid fights Shawn.
Yeah, because he's going to get his title shot the next night, so it's actually okay that he's not on the card. He's just kind of relaxing. Maybe he's watching the Intercontinental title match or something like that.
Right.
Okay, so we got Jarrett, who's still around. We could use him. We got Bulldog that we need to put on the card. We've got Hakushi, Hunter, Jean-Pierre Lafitte, Adam Bomb.
Oh, we haven't done Bulldog. I thought we did Bulldog, Jarrett, but we haven't.
No.
So do you want to do Bulldog, Jarrett, and then Jarrett leaves after Bulldog beats him?
Sure. Let's do that, and then let's debut Hunter or Lafitte against somebody.
Right.
Like Hakushi did, or do Hakushi against somebody to build him up further.
Yeah, I think we can do
also. Well, because we also have 9 matches at SummerSlam if we want to keep this format the same. So we might want to save a couple of these debuts or something for there.
Yeah.
But if we do like Hakushi beating up, I don't know, Bob Holly this time or whatever, it's a showcase for him.
All right, let's do that. And then we can decide if we want to do whoever at.
Yeah.
So Hakushi defeats Holly.
And you know what we could do too is because I think we had talked about the Brett Lawler cage match having a stip of like loser has to leave or something like that. Lawler could come back as Hakushi's manager, and this could be the debut of it. Like if you want a big story to kind of go along with it,
right? Okay, so our In Your House 2 card is Bigelow and Diesel beat Owen and Yoko for the vacant tag titles. Michaels fights Kid to a draw for the IC title. Brett beats Sid for the SummerSlam title shot. Luger retains in the main event over Taker when Camp Cornette costs him. Bulldog beats Jarrett. Jarrett quits the company. And then Hakushi with Lawler beats Holly.
Yeah. Good.
All right. Then the night after, we have Kid beating Ramon for the IC belt to retain with Taker's gong costing him.
Yeah.
And what we have so far for SummerSlam, Hart defeats Luger to win the world title. Lex leaves. Shawn beats Kid for the IC belt in a ladder match.
Yeah.
And then Taker beats Ramon in a Cuban street fight. And Camp Cornette attacks Taker. Ramon helps fight them off, but he kind of stays shades of gray, flicks the toothpick at Taker.
Yeah.
And walks off.
Okay. Now, the other thing to think about here, like since we're on to SummerSlam now, is this where Bulldog is going to turn on Bam Bam?
But he's with Diesel.
Oh, yeah, it's Diesel. Excuse me. Diesel and Bam Bam. Yeah.
No, I think Bulldog's turn comes a little bit later. I think we do Bulldog's turn at Survivor Series.
Okay.
And we do like a Survivor Series match. Like Bigelow.
I'm good with that.
Because we can have him and Diesel lose the belts before Survivor Series. Because Diesel's going to fight Brett anyway.
Yeah.
So maybe it's Bulldog, Bigelow, and whoever against Camp Cornette.
Yeah. So are Bulldog and Diesel then just defending the titles on this show?
Yeah, we can either have them lose them here or keep them a little bit in your house. But we don't. The problem is in '95, it's not really any of the teams. We haven't really used the guns.
No.
So I don't know if you want to bring them back around and have them fight. That doesn't really excite me too much.
There's also a cheeky little thing we could do and have Bam Bam and Diesel defend against Men on a Mission.
Yes.
Which is kind of a wink to what actually happened, but yeah.
Right. You could do Lawler and Hakushi.
He can't. Well, is he allowed to wrestle?
Oh, that's right. He can't wrestle. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's bring back Lawrence Taylor now. And we got some debuting guys that I don't want to lose track of.
Yeah.
Like I said, we have Mercy. We haven't debuted Savio if we want him anywhere. Well, we could do Razor and Savio.
Well, Razor's already fighting.
Oh, never mind. Yeah. I was thinking something like Savio could come in as like a heel with Razor, and that helps nudge Razor to face, but that's not that important.
Yeah.
So we got Mercy, we got Savio, we got Helmsley. We're gonna have Goldust next episode.
Yeah. Yeah. No Jarrett. We have the roadie if we want him.
Yeah. Well, he leaves with Jarrett too.
He
doesn't come back till. No, he doesn't come back till the end of '96. It's Jesse James.
Oh, right. Right. The problem with keeping Bam Bam and Diesel in a team. We also have Owen and Yokozuna, by the way.
I know. I don't want to just run that back again, though.
No, I don't either. But that's what I mean, because you could probably separate the two of them, and you get two more matches out of it, right? Like you could conceivably do Bam Bam and Owen and Diesel and Yokozuna, which I know it's kind of crazy, but
yeah, but that's like doing the same thing.
Yeah. The problem is the other teams. If we had another team that they could fight, like
we could do Bulldog and Owen at SummerSlam.
Yeah.
So maybe he like.
Oh yeah.
Something with Cam Cornette on TV. You know, maybe he pisses them off or whatever.
Yeah.
Or we could do an old school 6-man. Old school SummerSlam 6-man. Do Diesel, Bigelow, and Bulldog against Owen, Yoko, and Sid.
Yeah, it just eats up a lot of people that we. But I don't hate it. I don't hate it.
And then that could kind of like. I don't know. There could be something in there where like that forms the Bigelow, Bulldog, Diesel super friends that eventually blow up at Survivor Series when Bulldog turns.
Yeah. We could also do something where maybe this is too high concept, but like if Bam Bam, Diesel, and Bulldog are going to fight the individual members of Camp Cornette, and if they win 2-3, Camp Cornette has to disband.
And if Camp Cornette wins 2 out of 3, they get a tag title match on Raw.
Yeah, something like that. And then you'll have Camp Cornette win. Like they have to win it, right?
Yeah.
But then that gives us 3 matches that have stakes in a show that
I think
doesn't
Bigelow should lose.
Yeah.
And because I think the seeds of the heel turn for Bulldog should be that so what about this? Bigelow loses to Sid.
Okay.
Bulldog beats Owen.
Okay.
And then Bigelow tries to help Diesel against Yoko and costs him by accident. And Bulldog can kind of play like the ball buster.
Yeah.
And be like, hey, like, Bigelow, you really cost, like he can kind of start getting in Diesel's head a little bit. And then they lose the belts the next night, maybe back to Owen and Yoko.
Yeah.
And they stay loosely affiliated throughout the fall. And then they blow up at Survivor Series.
Yeah.
Or they could blow up in the fall and do Bulldog versus Bigelow at Survivor Series. We could do that too. Like,
yeah. And maybe, what they could do too is they could, instead of it being Owen Yoko, it could be Sid Yoko. Like they make it like, now just to make it different. Like, so Bam Bam fights.
So Sid defeats Bigelow.
Right.
Bulldog defeats Owen. And then Yoko defeats Diesel.
Yeah.
Bulldog interference. And Bigelow's interference backfires.
Yeah. Or do we want to have Bulldog interfere? And
no, he shouldn't have talked to him though. Bulldog has to be the only successful one because then he gets in Diesel's head about Bigelow sucking or whatever.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like he's getting in his head.
Yeah. The only way the Bulldog it works is if he was in on it all along. Like it was like the kind of thing where he's trying to like he botches the interference on purpose. But I think it's more interesting the other way.
Yeah, I think he's just, hey, Bigelow, you kind of screwed this up, right? And then Bigelow should definitely eat the pin on Raw.
Yeah. Yeah. And then I think the next, not to get too far ahead of ourselves, but the next 2 in your houses have to be like a Diesel, like mega push.
Right. And then I think Bigelow and Bulldog should blow up and fight at Survivor Series instead of the other way around. Because that gives Bulldog a big win at Survivor Series heading into 5.
Yeah. Okay. That's good. That's good. Okay. So that gives us 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 matches on this card.
And we're not going to have any tag title match. So do we want to do any other kind of tag thing?
I mean, who are the teams? It's Men on the Mission, the Guns.
No, it would have to be like a thrown together tag match.
Oh, I don't know. Because everybody else is kind of debuting or like.
Yeah, the only thing we could do is like if we want to do a Hakushi and Lawler angle with another people.
Yeah.
And Lawler is brought back into active like they petition. Maybe Hakushi kicks the shit out of someone on TV and they petition for Lawler to be allowed to wrestle. And we do a tag.
But who would they fight? That's the other thing.
Yeah, I don't know.
That would require him doing that because I think there's probably some mileage in that, and maybe we bring Lawler back as a wrestler at Survivor Series, as part of a team. But who do they fight is the issue because what I'm looking at here is Hakushi, Triple H, Jean-Pierre Lafitte, Waylon Mercy. Those are all heels, right?
Right.
Who are the I guess Adam Baum's still around, right?
Nah, he's pretty much gone, I think.
Yeah.
Do we want to do a women's match?
Oh yeah, let's do Blaze against somebody. Well, I guess we can keep Bertha Faye. I mean, not that I really want to, but I don't want to do Bull Nakano again.
No, and I don't know if we want to bring Aja Kong in yet.
No, I think we can probably do that at Survivor Series.
Right, so I think Alundra wins though.
Against Bertha Faye?
Yeah. And then you do Alundra Kong at Survivor Series.
Yeah.
Or you keep that women's match, whatever.
Bertha. What is on the original card? The original card is really not impressive. It's not a bad show though. SummerSlam 95, it kind of goes by quick.
We haven't used Kama at all either. That's another guy that's around that we haven't used, but he's done in January. I mean, so it doesn't. But so is Mercy. Like Mercy can be a TV guy for us. It doesn't fucking matter. He's only got one pay-per-view match anyway, so it's not like we have to have him on.
You know who we haven't used that like was kind of a big part of their TV at this point was Horowitz.
Yeah, and Skip is around.
Yeah, Skip, and then we also have they're all heels and Isaac Yankem.
Yeah, I think Yankem doesn't exist in our world because he's really only there for the kiss my foot shit. Like it doesn't make sense otherwise.
Yeah, the Blue Brothers are there.
Fake Diesel. Yeah, we got the Blues.
The Blues, the Guns, Men on a Mission. Is there another face team? Because we could do like a 4-on-4, right? Not that it's particularly exciting, but are there some midgets we could bring in, or some luchadors that want to come and do the show?
It feels like we should have either Hunter or
it's totally fine to have him. Yeah, like
to have a win on here probably because he's gonna be part of the show. I mean, he should be involved. Do we want to do him and Godwin already? Like we haven't used guy. He has another guy we haven't used. He's around,
right? I mean, okay, so are we definitely giving Hakushi a match? I think with what we're doing, it makes sense to.
Yeah. Do we want to have Lawler cost him a match?
Maybe not yet.
Okay.
Like that's a because we just put them together, right? So let
me throw this at you.
Okay.
We've played a little loose with some of the rules. I mean, what if we instead of Skip?
Sting.
Ow! What if instead of Skip, he just comes in as Candido with Tammy as his fucking manager, as a face? Because we could use another lower card face.
Yeah, I like that.
And what if he beats Hakushi in like the opener?
Yep.
You know, maybe Lawler accidentally caused. Like it's nothing that they break up yet, but it's like an early seed.
Sure. It's Candido. That could be the opener, yeah.
Because I mean, it's like Skip is such a big important piece of this that we can't fuck around like that, you know?
No. So then if we're keeping the 9-match structure, we have 1 match missing. We don't have to keep the 9-match structure.
No, I like giving Hunter a match. So
Holly, we can keep Holly, Baum, or Savio. Not that or Barry Horowitz.
I feel like if we're going to use Savio, I want to somehow put him involved in like the Cuban thing with Razor.
He could debut in the match. Let's have him debut.
But I feel like we have Razor. Is it too much? Because we got Camp Cornette coming in and attacking Taker already. And Razor helps, unless Savio comes out and helps fight them off as well with Razor. But I kind of have this idea of like Savio being like an evil Cuban drug lord kind of guy.
Yeah.
That Razor has been in Razor's ear.
Yeah, I like it.
So I'm rethinking the turn now.
Which turn?
The Camp Cornette attacking Taker.
Yeah, but you know what? We can also save that. Like we can turn Razor a different way. And we can have Camp Cornette attack Undertaker at another show.
Yeah. Well, they do it in your house too. It just feels weird. Right. I think we only had them in that SummerSlam match because it feels weird not to progress from SummerSlam.
Yeah. Yeah. I think maybe we keep them out of it. Like, because we can just make the interference about Razor, Vega, and Taker.
Right.
Like, and because there's no reason. I know they're supposed to defend Luger, but they can all be preoccupied with the other shit they got going on too, right?
Yeah.
Like, what do we have them doing at In Your House 2? We have Yoko and Owen losing the tag titles, and Sid losing to Brett. So it's like they could all be off doing that, and it's Razor, or they could be banned. Like, there's a bunch of things. There's a bunch of places we could go with that, right? Like, if we ban Camp Cornette from ringside in the Undertaker Luger match, and then it ends up being Razor that costs him the match,
right? Yeah.
Or Savio.
Yeah, because if we're doing Ramon now, him costing Taker makes sense. He's not even on the show.
Yeah. Yeah.
When do you want to reveal Savio? Is it before SummerSlam or at SummerSlam as Razor's?
Why don't we reveal him at In Your House 2? What if he's part of the distraction to Undertaker?
Yeah.
It's just he's not imposing at all. That's the problem. Like,
right. So it almost feels like he's gonna really come off as like gangster or something. Like,
yeah.
I don't know. Like, it's too early to debut all the Boricua. It's like 2 years early. It's like way too far out.
No.
Yeah, because I just feel like I picture him being almost like he's not a bodyguard. He's just more of a
associate.
This is going to sound like such a stupid comparison, but like,
yeah,
I'm not going to use his. I'll use his government name, Pete Dunne, with Sheamus as like this scrappy madman.
Oh yeah.
So Savio comes in, and he's from Razor's past or whatever, you know, and Stokes.
We could tease it earlier too. Like, he could be talking on the phone with him. He could be payphone because the cell phones weren't around, but you get the idea. Yeah, we could tease it, and then
I'm thinking Razor should win this match with Savio's help.
The Cuban street fight.
So then they're 2-2, or they're 2-1, and then we do one last because Taker beat him at Mania.
Yeah,
Razor beat him In Your House. You figure Taker's gonna win. It's almost like Taker Mankind.
Yeah,
you know.
So what we can do is debut Vega, but the only time we see him do anything physical is at SummerSlam.
Well, this is his debut. No, I think he debuts here. I think maybe we see Razor on the phone leading up or something, and be like, "I know you got my back" or whatever. So Savio debuts at SummerSlam, helps Ramon win in the Cuban street fight.
Havana. Let's change to Havana. Havana street fight.
Yep.
You wouldn't say United States street fight or Canada street fight.
Havana street fight. Vega debut.
Yeah.
And helps Razor.
Okay.
And then
at Survivor Series, Taker will destroy him.
Yeah, and then we can still have him turn after that.
Yeah.
And maybe that's where Camp Cornette interferes, and that spins into 96 with Taker.
Yeah. Yeah, that's good. Taker loses again. We've gotten rid of Mabel. We've taken all the mystique out of Undertaker. We've made Savio Vega a player. So that just leaves Triple H if we want to get him on SummerSlam.
Yeah, so I think we just do either him and Holly, just keep him and Holly, or
it's Holly or Bomb, right? Bomb's finished.
I think Bomb's done.
Yeah, it's just do Hunter Holly.
It just feels lame to keep one match on the real show. It's Hunter versus Holly.
Are there any other faces? Doink? You want to bring Doink back again?
No, I like how we killed him at King of the Ring.
Yeah, he's finished. Sid destroyed him. Anybody else that's
no? It's probably just Holly. Lawrence Taylor.
What's Rick Martel doing?
Bring him back with Cyrus or whatever. Jackal is the model. Supermodels like they're supposed to be.
That's 2 years early too. Who the hell was? I'm trying to think if there's any other faces that were.
By the way, is the $1 Million Team like gone at Mania? Like, what is done with them? Obviously, we haven't used them at all.
Good.
When does Austin debut? He's in like December, right? I think.
Yeah, he's not around here yet. When does when does Fatu start making a difference? Is that soon?
September-ish, I think. But he might have been on TV already. I don't know.
Look, it's Holly or like we can make it Horowitz if you want to change it.
I don't care if that doesn't exist in our world because Skip doesn't exist.
No, Chris Candido exists. So
we could do Louis Piccoli instead of Rad Radford
against Triple H.
Yeah.
All right, let's do Louis.
I like Holly, but it's just, I don't know. It feels like we'd at least do
something. I'm happy to not have him on the card.
Yeah. So Helmsley defeats Piccoli because then we can have Piccoli do something if we want down the line.
Yep.
Instead of the Radford Skip thing, maybe Piccoli and Candido do something.
Yeah.
It's weird. I like this card, but I don't feel as strong about it as Mania or King of the Ring.
No, me neither. But also I just think that like we tied up our big players in big matches.
Yeah.
Right. Whereas we're able to use a bunch of guys in different places. And like, I think by splitting up the tag titles and making those 3 matches, it makes the show better.
Yeah.
But with those 3 guys, do we have the right combinations? Like Bulldog and Owen, Yoko and Diesel, Sid and Bigelow.
Bulldog and Owen makes sense to me because Owen's the most beatable of those 3, and you got to get Bulldog to win. Yeah. Plus, you get their history and chemistry. You could flip if you want to do Sid beats Diesel and Yoko beats Bigelow. It's like the same thing. It doesn't matter. I just thought Diesel and Yoko is kind of an anomaly match, and so Sid. Bigelow.
I like Diesel Yoko.
Yeah, it's different.
Yeah, I think
so. The only person we really are like, Kama, we're just not even using, and are we just like shit canning the entire Mabel push?
Well, look, I think if he's in a team with Mo and it's Men on a Mission, I don't mind using him in places, but I don't want a Mabel singles push.
No.
I don't think anybody did except Vince McMahon.
You want to add one more match and have them like squash the Guns if we want to use them in the fall, or we don't care enough?
I don't think we care enough. We can have them squash the Guns on and In Your House, and it will do the same thing. Because, they might be the team that Diesel and Bam Bam eventually lose the tag titles to.
No, they're losing them the next night.
Oh, that's right. Who are they losing them to the next night?
Sid and Yoko.
That's right. Yeah, that's better.
Well, it should be Camp Cornette, the 2 guys that get the wins. That could be the stip. Yeah. The 2 guys that get which of the 2 win for Camp Cornette get the title match.
Oh, yeah, I like that. Now, do we do it the next night or do we do it at the next pay-per-view?
No, the next night.
Okay.
Because we got to start the Diesel push at the next pay-per-view.
Yes, that's right. And they could defend Sid and Yoko can defend against the Guns or something.
Yeah, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then we're gonna get a little influx, like I said, in the fall. We got Goldust, we got Jannetty comes back, so we can use him somewhere in there.
Thank God.
Well,
yeah, he's a guy.
It's a top 100 GWE. But no, he's at least a worker in this time that we don't have at the moment.
I'd rather have him than like Spicoli kind of thing. Although I like Spicoli, I think that's interesting. But
I mean, we also could bring Jannetty back a month early. Like, I think he comes back in like October if you want to use him.
He'll come back whenever he's asked. Whenever he's asked, he'll come back. So
I like the Spicoli things. I think we could do something with him and Candido.
Yeah.
Yeah. So who on the real SummerSlam don't we have? We have the Blues, the Guns. It's like whatever.
Yeah.
Yankum, Kama. Is that it? I think everyone else is on. And Mabel.
Horowitz.
So no one glaring.
No. Look,
Luger, does Luger Hart have any story you want to go over, or are they just like Hart is the #1 contender? Luger knocks him out in the build up, whatever.
The story's built up. Like if they do, like if they're the last 2 at the Rumble, and like Luger kind of does something slightly nefarious to win.
Right.
Like not anything crazy, but just like when you think about it, like, Luger knocks Bret out at WrestleMania 9. Him and Bret win the Rumble. It's a long-term storyline for those two. So I think we can, in between In Your House 2 and SummerSlam, we can do a lot of stuff on Raw that I think they'll build it up nicely.
Right. Okay. All right. So any loose ends? Are we feeling pretty okay?
Well, what's the order of the card?
All right. So obviously Hart and Luger's closing.
Yeah.
Do we want to do the ladder before the main event, like the real SummerSlam?
I guess. Yeah.
And it's Hakushi. Candido.
Hakushi, yeah.
Let's do Helmsley Spicoli second, like the real, or let's do Blaze Fay second.
Yep.
And then Helmsley Spicoli.
Yeah. And then
do you want to do the 3 Cornette matches in a row? Makes sense, right?
Yeah, and then we'll just have Taker, Ramon, Shawn, Kidd.
Yeah, we'll stack the big 3 at the end. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So we'll start with Sid beats Bigelow.
Yeah.
Then we go Bulldog gets his win.
Yeah, you have to do it that way because you want the suspense for the last one.
And then Yoko beats Diesel with Bigelow backfiring.
Is Yoko... What's the one that seems like it's Diesel should win, right? So we put that one last. Like you expect Diesel to beat Yoko more than you expect Bam Bam to beat Sid.
Now we could, if you want to, we could flip Owen and Yoko because Diesel versus Owen seems like the biggest layup on the board. And Bulldog upsetting Yoko is more of a surprise. Like maybe he even does something crazy, like power slams him or something. Like he did like a slam, and it's like holy shit, like Bulldog. Because I think to make this work, Bulldog has to look real impressive, and Bigelow's gonna fuck up, right? So, maybe we flip.
Well, you know what? Why don't we flip the other ones? So why don't we have Bulldog beat Sid, and Owen Owen beat Bigelow? Yeah. Because I like the idea of keeping Yoko and Diesel. That's a really interesting match that we never really saw.
Yeah, Bulldog power slams Sid. Like he looks like a huge clean win. Yeah. And they're confident going into that because now Owen has already upset Bigelow. And you got Bulldog, you got Sid against Bulldog. You're thinking, okay, Sid's gonna wreck him.
Yeah.
Bulldog pins him clean. And then Bigelow screws up and costs Diesel against Yoko.
Yeah, after having lost his match to Owen.
Yeah, so he's already lost and he cost Diesel. So Bulldog the next night can say, I won my match. I upset Sid. You lost your match and you cost Diesel.
Like, what are we doing here?
And Bigelow was going to take the pin in the tag title match too.
Yeah.
Now, the only thing that fucks up is the winners get the match because we have Sid and Yoko. So do you want to go back to Owen and Yoko, or do you want to say whatever Camp Cornette gets to pick?
I think Camp Cornette gets to pick.
Okay.
And then because if you do that, then you can actually start putting dissension within them too.
Right.
Cornette picks Sid, but Owen won his match. So
Yeah.
And it just gives another layer if we want to do other stuff down the road. What's funny is I actually am pretty excited to see Bigelow and Owen.
Yeah, it's a fun match.
We didn't use that anywhere else, did we? We didn't use it at King of the Ring okay, good.
No, Bigelow beat King of the Ring. Oh, he was with LT.
Yeah, that's right.
In Your House, he's in the tag.
Yeah.
In Your House, he's not on. Oh, he's with LT's corner against Sid.
That's right.
And Mania.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
So it's good. I know we probably sacrifice a better match with Bulldog and Owen, but
no, Bigelow Owen's fun. If nothing else, we made Bigelow's 1995 post Mania way more compelling. Like we've kept him as a major player a lot longer.
And he's so good. There's no reason not to.
And I think Bulldog beating him in Survivor Series, and then he can still leave if we want him to leave. It doesn't matter, and that'll springboard Bulldog into In Your House.
Yeah, we seem to be setting up Survivor Series with not many Survivor Series matches.
Yeah, well, right now we got. I mean, we don't have to do Taker Ramon single at Survivor Series. That could be a tag. That could be an 8-man. And
then they could have the final blow off the next night, the next pay-per-view.
Or that's just it. Like Taker just buries Ramon to end the match. Like he beats Vega and Ramon or something like that. And then Vega turns on Ramon. You know what I mean? We could do something along those lines.
Yeah. Okay. I'm good with that. Interesting card. I mean, look, I think it's definitely better than Survivor Series 95, what we got.
SummerSlam, I mean, yeah, I think so too.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, SummerSlam, like you said, 95 is not a bad show. But I think
No,
we've definitely increased. Like Hart Luger should be good. Like we definitely probably hurt the ladder match a bit. Like I don't know if Michaels Kid would be a 5-star like Michaels or Ramon, but it should be close.
Yeah.
Candido Hakushi is like a sneaky good match. That should be
Yeah.
at least matched Hakushi and Kid. Blaze Fay is the same.
Yeah.
That's
the one we get.
whatever. But you beef up that middle. Instead of Brett Yankum and Taker, and Guns Blues, we have Owen Bigelow, Bulldog Sid, and Yoko Diesel.
Yeah. With all with
Razor
stakes.
Taker.
Yeah, like all with stakes, right?
Right. And instead of Diesel Mabel, right, we got Brett Luger. Brett Luger may not be a work rate like Bonanza, but it's going to be better than Diesel and Mabel.
I don't know. Like, look, again, like I know maybe I'm too high on Luger, but like if Ric Flair can get 4-star matches out of Lex Luger or 5-star matches,
even if they're 3.5, it's still better than Diesel Mabel.
Yeah. Yeah. And I don't know. Like Luger is the champion's probably motivated. Like there's a lot of factors that might make it interesting.
And he knows he's getting paid by Bischoff.
Yeah, that's right. It'll be sad to see the total package go.
So the big things we'll have to figure out in our next episode for the fall is like, what does Brett do for a couple months
as champion?
Because we want to make it real. Like if we want to avoid the pitfalls of his real 95, 90, like we probably want to give him something pretty meaty for that fall. And then how we want to get Diesel there. And then do we want to use any of the debuting guys? Like we didn't have Lafitte show up yet, but he doesn't show up till In Your House 3 anyway.
Yeah. But he's dark matched at In Your House 2.
Right. So he can still
he's there. Yeah.
So Lafitte, Goldust, Jannetty, who else is showing up?
Later in the year, it's Austin. But that's really late in the year.
Right.
There's all the Japanese women, but Aja Kong, especially.
Okay. All right. So we'll find a spot for Lafitte.
Yeah, and once we get off SummerSlam too, we'll have Kid like as a player for like to help out with like building the heels.
Yeah, and I mean, I think we can do some fun stuff with Candido for a bit too.
Yes, and Hakushi, because look, we're building Hakushi as something different with Lawler as his manager, and
we also need Michaels, someone from Michaels for the fall. Like, I don't want to just have him in random matches. Probably like he's gonna have probably something intense. Maybe Owen ends up with him.
Yeah, well, he's the Intercontinental Champion. I mean, so here's the thing with Michaels we have to think about going forward. Does he still get beat up by the Marines?
Right.
Because that just takes him off of In Your House 4, right?
Oh, Douglas. I knew there was another guy.
Oh, yeah, Douglas. That's right.
We could just do him and Michaels still.
Yeah. He could also not be a teacher.
Right. Just like we do at Candido.
Yeah. Because it's that gimmick that sinks him. What if he's just like, he can come in and be like, I was supposed to be you in 1991. And then they let me go.
I don't think we need to have him get beat up. It fucks up In Your House, and then they do the concussion thing with Owen, but you can do that anyway.
Yeah. Well, that's what I mean. Does that real life situation still happen the way the Luger leaving still happens?
Right. I don't think it's as important to the history of wrestling. You know what I mean? Like,
no.
Luger leaving to me has to happen. Just like I think if we were to continue this into 96, I don't know if we're going to or not, but like Diesel and Razor have to leave.
Yeah.
In 96. Like if not, then you're getting into like our what if stuff, which I think if we're just doing this and we're trying to stay realistic within the bounds, you know, we've pushed it again with stuff like LT and Candido. Like that to me, that's minor stakes. But
I don't think Candido is pushing it that crazy because I think changing someone's gimmick is a rebook. Like it's not like it's not like we're bringing someone new in. He was there.
So to me, changing the course of wrestling, you know, by doing that. Like it'd be like if we're saying, oh, let's do like Dreamer and Candido start an ECW stable and Dreamer and Sandman come in. Like, you know, to me, that's like, okay, now we're just like fantasy booking everything. But we've tried to stay realistic within the construct of these shows. So I think we've done a good job of that.
I think so too. And I think it's an interesting card. I think In Your House 2 looks pretty good too. It's definitely different.
That's a big upgrade. I mean, Michael Jarrett and Rhodey Kid are like the only good things on that show in real life. And I guess we didn't set that card up. So Main event is
yeah,
obviously Luger Taker.
Yeah.
The
opener can be Michaels' kid.
Yeah, they didn't really do that in those. I think Bulldog eliminated,
that
or
too.
Hakushi Holly. No, let's do Bulldog Jarrett,
Yeah.
then Hakushi Holly,
Okay.
then the IC,
Then the tag.
then the tag, and then Hart Sid.
Okay, I like that.
All right, so it's Bulldog Jarrett, and that's Jarrett leaves. Hakushi with Lawler beats Holly. Michaels and Kid have the draw.
Yeah.
Bigelow and Diesel beat Yoko and Owen for the vacant tag titles. Hart beats Sid for the title shot at SummerSlam. And then Luger beats Taker. Camp Cornette's banned, and Ramon cost Taker. We're beating Taker a lot in 95. It's like 3 straight shows.
Yeah, but it is what it is. He's a company man.
And well, it's setting him up for big stuff in the fall. Like, we'll have to figure out what he does at In Your House. Is like, he should probably maybe fight Vega, one of them.
Yeah, he fights Vega. Then that'll probably be In Your House 3, maybe.
Yeah.
With Razor on the outside. Anyway, we'll get there. I don't want to spoil the next episode too much, but as much as we have already.
And then Kid, we have Kid beating Ramon in their IC title rematch.
Yeah, but with Undertaker.
The gong,
interference
So they cost each other titles back-to-back nights.
Yeah.
And that sets up the SummerSlam match.
Yeah, because when you look at the year as a whole, that's our blood feud of the year.
Yeah.
Like, nothing else is really a blood feud the way this is. Like, it's kind of like taking the whole year to play out. But I both guys are good, so that it could be interesting. And it's certainly better what they had than Taker do that year anyway.
Yeah, and I like Taker. Taker beating them at Survivor Series to end it.
Yeah.
Put him in the plant Ramon with the tombstone, pin him, and stand over him. And then maybe Camp Cornette attacks. Ramon gets up and fights him off. Maybe he smacks Vega during that too, or something, and that's how he turns.
Yeah.
Or he beats up Vega the next time on Raw. We also got Santa Claus coming if we want to use him.
Oh, I can't wait. I cannot wait.
All right, this was fun. Let us know what you think of our cards. If you would do anything different where we missed. We'll be back sometime in the fall with, I guess, both In Your Houses and Survivor Series, and we'll decide if we do. Maybe we'll do 3 and 4 as an episode in the Survivor Series and 5 or something like that. How we want to play it out. I think our goal right now is we'll probably take this to Mania 12 and go from there, most likely. So that feels like a natural.
And it won't be an Iron Man match.
No, it will not be an Iron. It may go an hour, but it will not be an Iron.
It will not be an Iron match.
All right, listen. Brell talked about it. Hulk Hogan almost killed him. Kurt Loder from MTV was and then I almost said Kurt Rambis. It was Kurt Fuller. Recently claimed Hulk Hogan almost killed him at No Holds Barred. So
of course he did.
That jockass didn't get the job done, but we did. So let us know what you think. Subscribe, like, love, follow everything at NoSo95 and North South Connection. We appreciate the love. Enjoy SummerSlam and all the SummerSlam content we have here. We'll be having all the previews for the show, plus the post show as always. So stay tuned on the North South Connection. And if you haven't checked it out, Aaron and I on Chronoso as well, covering an amazing Brother Love show segment with the Ultimate Warrior and Sensational Sherry. So be sure to check that out too. And until then, the Dookie's been dropped, and we'll talk to you soon.
See you later, jockass. Gah!